maniac to catch one.
Hello, and welcome to Bricks and Flix people of YouTube universe. If you didn't get the little opening bit I put on, today's film is going to be Demolition Man. I am going to try something a bit different today. So, well, we'll see if it works. If it don't, it don't. But, you know, got to try something, aren't we? Anyway, I've got my little book here. That's for my notes for films. So it has all my information in there. Like, well, I'm going to tell you in a second. I'm just starting to bore you now. So, Demolition Man was released on the 8th of October 1993. And the genre is action, sci-fi, thriller, crime. You know, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Just call it an action, sci-fi. Just a lot easier. The cast is Sylvester Stallone as John Spartan, Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix, Sandra Bullock as Lenina Huxley. Yes, I have issues saying her name as a character's name. We have Dennis Leary as Edgar Friendly, and Nigel Hawthorne as Dr. Raymond Cocteau. There is a lot more cast, but if I keep naming all the cast off, it's going to be about 10 fucking minutes long, and we don't need it. It was directed by Marco Brambilla. I've never heard of him either, considering it's one of my favourite films, but I've never really heard of him. And the plot of it is: a police officer is released from a cryostasis to pursue and capture an old ultraviolet nemesis who is released up onto a non-violent future society. I got that from IMDb because I'm not really good at doing synopsis. So, just bear in one moment, I will flip over in a second and start talking about it.
At the end of a century, ravaged by violence, a society of perfect order will arise. Criminals will be frozen and reprogrammed in cryogenic prisons.
The prisoners are ice cubes. Their criminal instincts are being reprogrammed as they sleep.
Aggression and deviant behavior will be totally eliminated.
He's a criminal the likes of which you have never seen. In a bad time, he was the worst.
I'm gonna love running this place.
But in the year 2032...
This morning, Simon Phoenix escaped from this cryo facility. We are, quite frankly, not equipped to deal with the situation.
Amidst a world of peace and calm...
We're police officers. We're not trained for this kind of violence.
How was the fiendish Simon Phoenix apprehended back in the 20th?
In the end, it took just one man, John Spartan.
You mean the Demolition Man?
The conditions of your parole are full reinstatement into the SAPD and immediate assignment to the apprehension of Simon Phoenix.
Two mortal enemies.
Just dropped in to say hi.
From another time.
Pass is over, John. Time for something new and improved. Oh, hell.
Will be unleashed on a future that isn't big enough for the both of them. Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man.
Hello again. So, if my different way of doing it has worked out, you should have just seen a trailer. So, that is Demolition Man. My idea is if I can work out and put a trailer on top of it, every time I do one, then I might get a few more people wanting to watch these films, and then you might be thinking, yeah, you're right, you're wrong, you know. I don't, you know, everyone has a different opinion. So, start off with, obviously we have the pre-opening scene where you're basically getting the capture of Simon Phoenix, who John Spartan has been trying to capture for 2 years. Basically all ensues, you know, send a maniac to catch a maniac, shooting, explosions. Hell, what do you want with a film that's action? And then obviously, yes, then we get to the point where the reason why it went down in the first place, because Simon Phoenix hijacks a busload of people on a bus, and basically he could not find them. The only he found was 8 of them, and they was all part of Simon Phoenix gang. So it essentially works out that he gets sent to prison for voluntary manslaughter, I believe, because he didn't find the rest of the passengers. That's what I was looking for, not customers, the passengers. Anyway, so he gets woke up 36 years later in 2032. Now the problem with the society in 2032 is they're all like snowflakes. Kind of like how society is a bit now, where you can't say anything to offend them. I'm sure some people know where I'm coming from on that. Anyway, so basically, they come out, they've got this violent criminal, they don't know it, so they have to release John Spartan. Now, my feeling on this is, yeah, he comes out, he wants everything that's all bad for him. And obviously in this society, you're not allowed bad things, which is a bit silly. You know, well, that's where society's ending up now, let's be honest. Anyway, some other things that I will comment on also is the dinner scene, where after the first situation between John Spartan and Simon Phoenix happens, the Dr. Cocktail, who actually has masterminded Simon Phoenix to do a job for him, basically looks like he's getting threatened to him, even though he's not. So Simon Phoenix runs off, and then he invites John Spartan out to dinner, which, depending on which version you get, differs. Thus, if you have, I believe it's the American version, it's actually Taco Bell that wins the franchise war food-wise. But you have a European version, it's actually Pizza Hut. I've only ever known the Taco Bell version, but the one that I downloaded actually has a Pizza Hut version. So, we shall see, won't we? Oh, excuse me. Right, I mean, don't really make much difference which way you look at it. I mean, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, food's food. You know, I mean, it's not really a major plot in the film. It does have a slight plot, but it's not a major plot. There's also another interesting thing about that scene is there's a bit where you see John Spartan protecting a girl from the scraps. Turns out that girl from the scraps is his daughter of the future, and she knows it, and she asks who he is, and she tells it. She basically finds out is her father. But obviously that was something that was never released, something that I found out myself recently. It's been interesting to see how that one would have worked out. But anyway, so yeah. Also on the way to Taco Bell / Pizza Hut, They also talk about the Schwarzenegger library. Bear in mind, this film was released, what, in 1993, and I'm sure at the time it would have been a running joke. Not quite sure how literal that joke would have been to some degree. But, you know, it's a fun little thing. You also get Lena Huxley using certain phrases like trying to say he's met his match when she doesn't say that quite right, or saying, or just getting all sayings wrong. So John Spartan just basically corrects her every time on it, not trying to be horrible to her, which is a nice little thing. We also have one of the most infamous scenes in the film, the sex scene, where basically you put on, I'd describe it, it's kind of like putting on a helmet. It's like, I suppose it's a bit like virtual reality, like putting a virtual reality helmet on, but you're not actually physically touching each other, you're just doing it. It's kind of like with brainwaves. Obviously for John Spartan that's not quite, you know, it's a bit weird for him. Even though by the end of the film, him and Lena Huxley will have a kiss and she'll quite enjoy it. I know when I do these things, they're not much a review, I'm just giving you generic stuff to go with by. But my idea is that, you know, maybe some people will actually go and watch them. I'd actually like them to watch them, because, you know, you don't get many films like this nowadays, which is a shame, because they are good. So, how many toilet rolls am I going to give Demolition Man? Do you know something? I'm not even going to give it out of 5. Because it is one of my favourite films, I'm actually giving it, oh, this is a big one as well, I'm actually giving it 15 toilet rolls. 15 toilet rolls, that's how good I like this film. That's generally how much I like this film. But, so, thank you for watching this video. You know what I'm going to say. Like, subscribe, comment, do what you got to do. Thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you soon. Yes, I also forgot to mention one thing as well with this potential new way that I'm doing it, that any images that I use are contracted and owned by Warner Brothers / Silver Pictures Productions. Just in case I should happen to get YouTube give me a flag up because I've used something I shouldn't have used, so I'm just giving this acknowledgement. So thank you and goodbye.